made an entrance. Welcome. Today I am going to share with you some of my favorite YouTubers and podcasts that helped me in my recovery. I have found it really helpful to find these recovery channels so that when the eating disorder, I've been trying to not call it my eating disorder, when the eating disorder tells me these things that I have believed for 15 years, I can listen and I can bring other information in, and I can remind myself that the other information is the truth and that what the eating disorder tells me is bullshit. So let's get into it. As I was compiling this list of YouTubers that I like, I've realized that there's two kinds of YouTubers. There are the YouTubers who are going through their recovery journey and they're sharing their experience and what's working for them. That's how I feel my channel is right now. I am almost to day 100 of not engaging in my eating disorder, which is freaking crazy and so amazing. And then there are YouTubers who have recovered for a significant amount of time and now they're sharing what worked for them. So I'll point those out as we go. So let's get into it. I have some notes here so I don't forget. So the first one I have written down, and these aren't in any order, is Jen Brett. Jen Brett comes from a fitness background and eating really clean. On her channel, she talks a lot about intuitive eating. She posts a lot of what I eat in the day videos. Her videos really help me not be afraid of food, and she's gotten me into Cinnabons and cereal, and she's just a really real person, and I really enjoy supporting her. Okay, the next one is Daphne Fischer. She is on her recovery journal. She has a background in anorexia and over-exercising. She also does what I eat videos, and she'll also do some conversation videos where she talks about like body checking or how to get the perfect bikini body knot, and her experience. I really like her spiritual beliefs. I feel like I have a lot in common with her in that way, and like studying the divine feminine and reading some of the self-help books that have to do with spirituality. That's a lot of what I study in as a yoga teacher and as someone who's really interested in that. I personally am really interested in tantric philosophy, and that looking for the oneness that permeates us all, and remembering that we are all innately whole. And she talks a lot about those kind of topics, which I really enjoy. The next one is Megsy Recovery. I'm going to link all of I'm going to list everyone's name and then I'll link their channel page. So she is recovering from anorexia too. She's also on her recovery journey. She's in I think she's 30 or close to it. So I relate to her a lot because I'm also 30. A lot of the other recovery channels I follow, the women are younger. So it's nice to be able to relate to someone with age. She also has a lot of different treatment history in her past, and so she brings a really cool point of view and talks a lot about what she's learned from therapy. So sometimes I feel like when I watch her channels, I'm getting a therapy appointment, and I can like listen to what her therapist said to her and think about how that could be applicable in my life. Then there's Tabitha Farrar. I apologize if I'm saying these names not correctly. She also comes from a very restrictive past. She's also older, which I relate to, and she's a recovery coach, and she just says it like it is. Her videos are always really short and really to the point, and I just feel like it's such blunt truth. I feel like my eating disorder or that eating disorder will tell me all of these lies and like make it so interesting and make me be like, I don't know, is that true? And then I'll watch one of her videos and it'll be like, no, this is the truth. Like, you need to eat when you're hungry, or like mindful eating is BS, or I really appreciate her blunt, honest recovery tips, and she posts really frequently, which is terrific. I think she also used to be a yoga teacher, which I have in common. The next is Ladle by Ladle. The girl's name is Rachel. She's also recovered. I think she's been recovered for 4 years or 5 years, and so now she's posting videos about how she recovered and about what worked for her. Sometimes she'll read some of her old journals. She'll post what I eat in the day videos, and she's also really honest. I love her Q&As, and she just tells it like it is. All of these videos I follow, the people are saying basically the same thing, that like restriction is a major cause to eating disorders, so don't restrict. And yeah, you need to keep eating, and like weight gain is not something to be feared, and set points. Those are all the things that it's really helpful for me to hear again and again and again in different kinds of wording, so I can remember it and believe it. And when the eating disorder comes in and makes me forget, I can like rewatch and re-listen and remember. The next one is Life with Lydia. This is someone who I found early on in my current recovery journey. When I was first looking around, I found so many anorexic recovery videos, and I really didn't relate, because I thought, well, I was such a bulimic that I don't relate to the just not eating. And so I really liked Life with Lydia because she focuses on recovering from binge eating, so I could relate to that binge eating part. She has this awesome video about like these two different parts of ourselves, the part that is like our animal brain when we're restricting, and our instincts, versus like our higher self. And it's really cool. She puts a lot of thought into her videos. She also has a really interesting video on set point, and she does a lot of good interviews with other people, so check her out. Now that I've watched more videos, I realized that my bulimia was very restrictive, so it was more like anorexia bulimia, and so now I can relate to a lot more of these anorexia videos, but it took me a while to be able to see the similarities there, because I thought like, no, this is something totally different I can't relate to. But now I see like I was totally restricting, and then I was using throwing up or over exercising to compensate. Okay, let's see. Let's go. So the next one is Shaye Recovery. She has been in recovery for I think like maybe a year and a half. And it's cool because she has shared her recovery journey from the very beginning. I really liked watching her videos from the beginning and seeing her go through really intense periods where she was really frustrated and being honest. And now watching her videos where she's to the other side and is like, it's so worth it, you guys. And she's like giving comparisons to how it was. And I really like being able to like follow her story all the way through and see like she really did go through it. She really is where I was. And so maybe I can now get where she is. So check her out. I love her. She is like sunshine. Okay, so the next is Follow the Intuition. Her name, she has such a cute accent. I really enjoy listening to her voice, but it's Follow the Intuition, and she does a lot of great videos like overshooting weight, like dealing with weight gain. She comes from like a bulimia that has to do with exercise, so orthorexia, and compensating through exercise. She also does a lot of really terrific interviews, and she asks really good interview questions. I really like her. And then there's Kayla Rose. She has a last name, but I don't remember it. Who reminds me very similar to Follow the Intuition. She interviews people. Kayla Rose comes from bikini competitions, so she had a restrictive eating for bikini competitions, and then she tried to heal some symptoms she was having, so she got a really clean diet and went to raw veganism, and then that eventually led her to recovery. And I was raw vegan for a while, so and I was really into like being fit, so I relate to her a lot in that. She's studying, I think, to be a nutritionalist, so she has a lot of knowledge with nutrition. I was watching a video the other day, and she was like dropping all of these like very intellectual like chemicals, and I thought, damn, you're smart. So yeah, check her out, Kayla Rose. And then there's Shaye Boddington. So this is someone else I also found very early in that helped me a lot. She has a video on neurotransmitters, and if you watched many of my past videos, that understanding the neurotransmitters, which I've known for a while. Like, I study parts of it in yoga, but that really helped. And I liked her because she's one of the only YouTubers I found that really talked about bulimia, that talked about how she couldn't stop throwing up. And it was so nice to be able to relate to her. I actually signed up for her online forum group. I didn't use the forum group much, but I got the book that came with it, which I liked a lot. So check her out. So she is recovered now too. I'm trying to point that out, but I think I have been forgetting. So then there's Maci Eleni. She is going through recovery. She was one of the first people I found who was vlogging her recovery journey. And she was the account. I actually messaged her a little bit before I started my channel. So I was really nervous to put my channel out there that people I knew might find it. And I have another channel that's like my name, but I want it to be separate, and I didn't want necessarily my friends to be getting shared these videos. I've come to the place to accept that if my friends find it, if like people I work with find it, it's so important for me to be sharing my truth that it would be okay. I would get over it, but I'm not going to tell them about it. Anyways, so it was so cool to see her sharing her story and her talking about when she has hard days and talking about what works for her and saying, if watching my videos are triggering to you, don't watch them. That was really helpful for me to see her sharing honestly and seeing people responding to that. That really was helpful to me. Okay, we're almost done. So the last one is Isabel, Foxen, Duke. I found Isabel, Foxen, Duke through one of Life with Lydia's videos. She interviewed her, I think, 3 times, and I just fell in love with this chick. She was so cool. She was hilarious, but not fluffy, just told it how it is. It's really helpful for me to have people just tell me how it is. Kim, you cannot restrict, period, end of line. Any restriction is your eating disorder or whatever it is. Diets are bullshit. It really helps me, and she does it in such a funny way. So her eating disorder was more just restrictive eating, so I think she was put on a diet when she was in diapers or something like that, and she helps women stop dieting and helps them realizing that she talks a lot about emotional eating. Her channel is really bare. I think the last time she posted a video was 5 years ago. I am going to include her channel link below, but I encourage you just to search her name because there's been a ton of other people who have done hour-long interviews with her, and those are really, really good. Okay, so that's my list. Oh, and I was going to tell you for podcasts, I really like, my favorite one lately has been the Recovery Warrior Show. I forget the name of the girl who does it. I think she also has an app called Warrior Rise or something. But she is such a good interviewer. She does her research. Every podcast I've listened to her has been phenomenal. She's also really into astrology, which I also really like. I really like listening to her. When I road trip, I download a few of her podcasts. I also like this podcast called Revealing the Diamond. This is more like a Kundalini yoga guy, but who's gone through sobriety, and I'm 7 years sober. I'll make a video at some point about my sobriety. If you're interested, let me know. So it's more of on the yogic side, but it's one of my favorite podcasts. And then I also Fearless Rebel Radio, which I forget the woman's name, but she's very similar to Isabel, Foxen, Duke in just having a really restrictive past and learning that there's so much more freedom when you ditch the diets. So I hope that this gives you more people to listen to and helps inspire you and to see the light. I feel like people who recover from eating disorders, or even when they're on their journey, it's like they're lit lamps, and they're helping show the way for people who are in their eating disorders and they're in darkness, or they're in recovery but they're going through a dark moment, to be able to look and see all of these other warriors who are either currently fighting their eating disorder or who who have gotten to the other side and have survived and are saying life is so much greater. Like, I know you don't believe it now when you're in this eating disorder prison and it doesn't seem like there's a choice, but there is a choice, and it's hard, and it includes weight gain probably and emotions, but let me tell you, the other side is so much better. That the best days in recovery are better than the worst days in recovery are better than the best days in the eating disorder. So that is so helpful for me. I used to watch like hours of these recovery videos during the day because I just needed to be filling myself with something other than my eating disorder behaviors. Now that I'm a little bit over 3 months into it, now I'm starting to develop other hobbies and interests, so I don't feel like my whole life is like focusing on recovery. Just like before recovery, I felt like my whole life was focusing on the eating disorder and trying to get better but not doing good, and before that it was focusing on the eating disorder but trying to keep it a secret. So it felt like the eating disorder in some way has been a part of my life for so long, and it's really cool to see me developing more outside interests. Like, I've always had a few things I've been interested in, but now, like, if you watch my last video, this is getting long, so I'll try to wrap it up. I've gotten into the ukulele, so now I'm watching ukulele videos more than I am recovery videos. Still watching the recovery videos, but I don't feel like I, like, need them. They're just really comforting. Anyways, that was a nice long babbling ending. I hope you liked this video. I wanted to say, if you know a recovery channel that I did not mention, please drop it below, because I'm always looking forward to subscribing to more people so I can be getting more of this knowledge into my life and into my heart. As the eating disorder moves out, I have room for more truth. Okay, thanks for watching, you guys. Bye. I'm going to do this cute ending that I see people do.